Joining us via Zoom, digital entrepreneur Nick Bell. Welcome, mate. How are you?
Mate, good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Listen, I've been wanting to talk to you for quite some time because the more I read about your story, the more I was excited by it. And I wanted to not give it more airtime or exposure, but allow it to be seen for what it is. It's a tremendous story of persistence. Now, you failed a couple of times in the early days. You were nourished by a mum who said to you, darling, you can do an awful lot of things if you only try. Well, you've been trying for some time. You started a business, what was it, 2008 or 2006 with about $350?
I started my first business in 2004, unsuccessfully. So I did that for 4 years. It was a skincare business, and unfortunately I had issues with suppliers and manufacturers, and I just didn't know what I was doing. And then up in 2008, I said, shit, I need some cash. I need to make some money. I said, I'm sick of living poor for 4 years. And I'm not claiming like I'm desolate on the street, but I didn't have any money to do it. So I started a side hustle from my bedroom selling digital marketing or SEO back in the day. And then that business grew instantly within 3 days and became profitable within 3 days.
You should tell us what happened about half a dozen years later.
In terms of the, well, let me say, so I started that business in 2008. I think in our third month we did about $1 million, and this is my bedroom, by the way.
That's right. That's exactly right.
This is me working in just at a desk next to my bed, cold calling companies, saying you're on page 2 of Google, I can get you on page 1. And what I would do is I would start in Auckland, so I would call companies in Auckland first. Then I'll do the east coast of Australia. Then I'll do, say, Adelaide, and then finish on the west coast at the end of the day. So I've got basically the entire country and in New Zealand to cold call every single day. So I did that for months and months, and then the business just grew organically quite quickly. And then I started hiring people. And obviously a few years later, I ended up selling that business for about $39 million.
39 million with a startup of about 350 bucks.
Good return on investment.
Fantastic.
I started the business with $300.
But you know, listening to you tell that story, it sounds like a simple enough story, but you had method. You had a commitment, you had a desire, and you had a method. And I love the fact that on that list of yours, you started, as most lists do, Auckland, and you worked your way through the alphabet and across Australia. Yeah, fantastic stuff. Now, but you haven't sat back on your laurels. 39 million, congratulations, well done. You're on the rich list, but that's not enough for you. What gets you out of bed in the morning?
Well, keep in mind the tax man takes 25% of that. So there's not too much left after that.
I thought you said we weren't going to talk about the federal government.
Now, look, end of the day, money's just a byproduct of what you do well. So, and for me, it's not the money. I actually compete with myself. Someone says, why do you continue to work? I said, what else am I going to do? Sit on the beach and drink cocktails? No, thanks. I love business. I love the craft of business. I love taking an idea from ideation to creation. That's what excites me. That's why I keep starting business after business after business. I think we have 12 companies in the group now. And my wife goes, can you stop starting businesses? Because every time I start a business, I give her more work. So look, I just enjoy the process and the craft and building a team. And I don't think I'm ever going to stop until I die. It is what it is.
Now, talk to me about how your life and how your business methods have changed pre-COVID and now post or during COVID.
I think like most of the world, I had to be in the office every single day. I had to be the first one in the office, the last one out. And because we have a massive international operation overseas, I was on the road 2 out of 4 weeks a month. And I thought I had to be there to meet the team, work with the team. Obviously with COVID, you couldn't travel. So everything was done via Zoom. And surprisingly enough, during COVID, and not because of COVID, our revenue doubled during COVID. And I did all the meetings via Zoom. I was far more efficient via Zoom because I was back-to-back meetings via Zoom. And it was like, bang, bang, done, next meeting, rather than flying over there, losing 24 hours on travel, checking into a hotel, back and forth from the office. It was just inefficient with time.
Mm.
I don't think
And
I'll go
also
back
money,
to what I was doing.
and also money. I mean, you're expending money. You're paying for flights. You're paying for hotels. You're paying for the transfers.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
another
yeah.
outgoing that you constantly have to address.
Well, it's money. It's time away from your family and friends, and it's just not necessary anymore. Yes, I think you have to see your team internationally, but not once a month, maybe once a quarter or once every 6 months. Zoom or Microsoft Teams, whatever you use, it's brilliant. And I think the world's completely changed. Even now, almost post COVID, we're not quite out of it yet. But I don't think it's going to be 5 days in the office anymore. I don't think any company will be in the office 5 days a week. I think that it's completely changed. And I think if you're forcing people to come back full time, you're going to lose talent.
Okay, here's the question I have for you. There are cities around the world that are going to be asking their workers to leave home after a year and a half and go back into the cities. How do we get people back in the cities? How do we get people back on commuter transport when we still, unless they're all vaccinated, they're still going to be most fearful because we've spent the better part of the last 18 months scaring them?
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough to get people back into the cities full time. I think, yes, people want to work in the office a couple of days a week. Do they want to go by public transport at the moment? I don't know. I know a lot of our staff do not want to go by public transport, but I think once the vaccine's rolled out, touch wood, when that happens over the next 6 months, who knows? I think things will definitely change for the better. But at the moment, employees just need to be flexible with their staff. It's, look, I want you to come in the office, but you can work from home maybe 1 or 2 days a week, but you need to be in the office. Because my question is to employers, how do you create a culture? Everyone's working remotely. So what happens? Do I see you once a year at the Christmas party? It doesn't work.
No.
People need to be in the office because you need to create that bond.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. That social component is one that also nourishes not only families but businesses too. So true.
Yep.
What sort of advice would you have for the aspiring business owner or the next digital entrepreneur? What sort of advice can you give them going forward, knowing that the world's changing at 1,000,000 miles an hour around us?
Look, I give this advice to any business owner that's coming into the market. When I first started, I didn't reinvent the wheel. I just came in and, I'll be honest with you, in my industry was fragmented. So people were charging ridiculous prices. And I came and said, look, you're charging way too much and you're not offering any KPIs or guarantees. So if you're coming into the market, make sure your product offering is different from everyone else. Don't copy, make it unique, make it attractive to consumers, and just work harder. Put the hours in. I was doing 7 to 11 every day. And for me, it wasn't work. I'll be honest with you, I fucking enjoyed it. It was awesome fun. Because when you're winning, it's good. When you're losing, it's not. And it's like anything. The more you put in, the more you get out. I know it's cliche, but it's so true.
No, it's true. And I wanted it to come out of your mouth. I didn't want to sit there and push it in there for people to say, oh, he's telling them what to do. No. You've been there, you've suffered the slings and arrows and the setbacks that happen in business, because you've also been enormously persistent. As I said earlier, you had a plan, but you've been an enormous stickler. You've made that commitment and you're sticking to it, and the proof in the pudding is your wife saying to you, back off, darling, slow down. But before you slow
She's
down...
going, stop with the businesses.
Listen, before we leave you, and I appreciate your time, what do you make of all these brand new platforms, things like Clubhouse, Expert Guide and Cameo? And where do you see the industry evolving? I mean, each day I can go in and search new app, and there's a new app coming around the corner at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Let's talk about Cameo first. So what's Cameo done? It's made celebrities accessible. Before you couldn't access Snoop Dogg. Now you can reach out to Snoop Dogg. You couldn't reach out to it, but now you go, I'll pay you $1,000 to record a message for you. And he goes, yes or no, does the message, bang, you paid $1,000, he's made $1,000 and you've got what you wanted. These platforms create accessibility and convenience, as we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
It's all about convenience in life now. People want to save time. and they want to do it from home. I don't want to have to leave my house and go see a doctor. Now you've got telehealth.
Yeah.
It's literally time saving and convenience, and that's why we're launching, as you know, we're launching a new business called Listening that connects mentors with mentees. Before, to find a mentor, there was no way to find a mentor. So I'm not sure if I jumped ahead here, but it's all about, actually, another good example, Airtasker. Have you ever used Airtasker?
Yes, yes, I have.
It's a
Yeah,
brilliant platform.
yeah.
Post a job, people bid on it, they come to your house and they do the job. Super easy. Now you don't have to call 3 different tradesmen and get quotes. They create a convenience for the consumer. That's what it's all about.
And Airtasker started a bit like you. His mother said to him, go out there and get a real job. So he had to invent one, and sure enough, it's come back and rewarded him and his family and his business many times over. Well done. I think it's fantastic.
He's just listed. He just IPO'd on Tuesday last week or this week. And I think it's at 300 million now, 400 million.
Hey,
Brilliant.
What's 300? What's 300 million between friends? Eh? Fantastic stuff. Now you touched on mentees, yeah, and mentors.
Yes.
When I first started 40 years ago, which is a lifetime ago, the world was a very different place. There was, for a young ethnic boy growing up in Sydney, there was no one who could take us under their wing. And the only thing that saved me was the marvellous support I had by the seasoned professionals I was allowed to work with. And they weren't competing with me. They realised that if they didn't allow me to progress at the rate that I needed to, we were all going to fail. So they bought in very early on, and they helped me as much as possible. I shut up and just became a sponge. And after 3 or 4 years, I started to understand that maybe I was learning 1 or 2 things that were key. But the things that I've learned over the years has been, in order to succeed, if your attitude is not right, if your passion, your drive and your commitment is not there, don't bother doing anything, because it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, agreed. And if you think you don't need a mentor in life, then I think you need your head read. In the early days of starting business, I thought I didn't need a mentor. But it's the old saying, you don't know what you don't know. And I didn't know much. And when I actually found a mentor a few years ago, my life completely changed. Business, I became a better father, a better husband, better everything. I was like, why didn't I get a mentor earlier? It just makes such a difference in life, because you can just absorb information, you can ask questions. It's an absolute game changer for life.
Nick, fantastic advice. We look forward to your next creation, and we wish you every success. And to your lovely wife and family, I hope you continue to enjoy life and take it to the next level.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Pleasure, mate.
it.
All
Thanks
the very
for that.
best. Nick Bell joining us
Cheers.
via Zoom. Thank you, Nick.